There is a major update on Randy Orton's return to WWE. Jade Cargill is reportedly seen as a high priority for WWE Creative, and there is potentially going to be a very bizarre sports cameo at Crown Jewel. Stay tuned for the news. It's been a long time since we've seen Randy Orton around the WWE. If this is the longest gap without him in my memory, like
I think the gap is about
how big?
This
yeah,
long.
it's about this big. There we go. It is so strange. He's been out of action since around about May 2022. It's strange to see WWE without the Legend Killer, without the Apex Predator, but it looks like we could see him back fairly soon, because Fightful Select have been reporting, and WWE sources have confirmed to them that Randy Orton has been at the Performance Center this week, and it's not been much of a secret. In fact, that we saw some videos that people posted where you see him walking in and he's just like,
but it's great because he waves and then does a little lips.
He's like, yeah, keep it quiet. But he has been at the Performance Center. Yesterday, Cassidy of Body Slam has told Sean Ross Sapp that Randy Orton's bus was already at the Performance Center. You know, I imagine we're getting closer to seeing him back in the ring. He had very serious surgery. He's not a spring chicken anymore, so that surgery does take a little bit longer to recover from. But I really want to see him back.
It'd be very, very cool to see him back doing his thing. And it's been something that's been talked about for, I feel like for ages. I feel like back at WrestleMania, we were saying, oh, Randy Orton might make a surprise appearance. And then I think for SummerSlam, there was talk of him making a surprise. I think there was talk of him being at Money in the Bank
as well.
There was a photo that appered on the jet with all the wrestlers, and one face was blurred out, and everyone went, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. I was thinking Drew, which probably was.
But
Drew. It could have been Randy Orton. You never know.
It could have just been somebody, a staff member from the flight who didn't want their picture in the photo.
That is also very true. But the same report was noting that Orton has been working out in the gym, and Fightful has been told that he got huge at one point, but he has not, as of early August, resumed in-ring return. But it's now a month later. You'd assume at the Performance Center, they've got a couple rings there.
Yeah,
so
well,
he
was
there. He's taking those bumps.
Yeah. He was there. We saw him.
We did see him walking in.
Now, it doesn't mean like the return is imminent, but I know that WWE has a very stringent policy when it comes to returns after long absences. You've got a stringent set of in-ring training exercises to do to make sure that you're good to go. And I think it was Kurt Angle on his podcast that said that nobody is exempt from that. It's like even when The Undertaker was getting back into the ring, he had to go to the Performance Center and do a series of tests while in the ring to prove that he was good to go. And that would be what's next on the docket for Randy Orton if he hasn't done it already.
What would you like to see him do when he returns?
I genuinely think there's a nice bit of business you can do with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I think because Roman's not losing the title until at least Mania.
That's
so
true.
Depending on when that return happens, whether we get Orton Roman at the Rumble.
Ooh, it's interesting you want to bring him back as a face. I mean, he'll get a face pop,
Oh, of course he's coming back as a face.
Cheer. I think you bring him back, make him look like a face, and then attack Cody Rhodes. Get him the ultimate heel, and that extends Cody Rhodes' run to WrestleMania.
But here's okay. Let's amalgamate these two ideas, right?
Right. Okay.
Right. Orton Roman at the Rumble.
Joins the bloodline.
Oh yeah, he's Samoan all along. Roman Orton at the Rumble.
Yep.
The night after the Rumble, that's where the Snake attacks Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah.
Because then at Mania, night 1, you do Cody versus Orton.
Okay.
And you do Roman versus Rock.
Okay.
Night 2, winners of both those matches in the main event.
In the main event. Now that is some fantasy booking. Let us know what you want to happen for Randy Orton's potential return to WWE now that he has been at the Performance Center. But he has not only been at the Performance Center. There's been other people there, of course. Jade Cargill is a name that has been on the talk of the wrestling world this past week, since about last Wednesday or so. She's been at the Performance Center, as it was reported earlier this week. But Dave Meltzer has given an update on the Wrestling Observer Radio, saying that she's a high priority for creative in WWE. What's he been saying, Tom?
They're doing main roster creative for her right now. They're not bringing her in like some NXT people like Von Wagner or Alpha Fire or Katana Chance, where they're brought up and they have no idea what to do with them and they just kind of disappear into the dust. It's almost like, why do we even bother calling them up? So she's not earmarked to be like that. She's earmarked for real stuff. That is the words of Dave Meltzer.
Real stuff.
But I said it sounded like Brian Alvarez. Real stuff. Cargill was indeed spotted in Orlando on Monday before flying back to Atlanta that evening. And so I don't think she wasn't part of the day of tryouts, but she was certainly there for a bit of business. I think it's the right thing to bring her in like white hot. I think that there's a lot of talk, and she's got certainly a marketable persona. I think there's bags of potential there.
If they can get her to sign a contract, because we're not sure if she's signed officially yet or not. It could, they're creative. They've got creative plans for her, but we're not quite sure on the contract situation. I think if they're smart, they get her signed and debut this Friday on SmackDown. Have a big, big night. Last week we had The Rock. This week, Jade Cargill.
Get straight. Oh, really? Just keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Just have Jade Cargill straight away. Her Io Sky. I don't know, for the title, just win the belt. I don't know. Those creative plans are high priority. Tony Khan did comment on Jade's AEW departure while chatting on the Superstar Crossover podcast, and he said, as far as Jade goes, I can't really comment on that, except to say that Jade's been a great wrestler for AEW and certainly always welcome in AEW. Could always be somebody we would always love to work with here in AEW. So it seems like that is really the book closing for her time in AEW, her first run. Maybe we'll see again in the future, because I'm sure AEW would love to have her back and headlining pay-per-views and all the sort of weekly content, because they've got to get that on TV, and she's a big draw. Yes. And speaking of their TV, we maybe have some streaming plans for them in the future. What's the story, Tom?
So Warner Brothers Discovery's Max streaming service have announced they're going to be launching Bleacher Report Sports as an add-on. If you're a Max subscriber, sorry, I used HBO.
HBO
Max.
Max.
Call that anymore. So if you're a Max subscriber, you're going to get it free until the end of Feb, but then from there it's going to be $9.99 a month. It's going to have all your NBA, your Major League Baseball, your NHL, your soccer ball. So your protected rugby, your rounders, your football, and other things. Yes. Sports Business Journal has noted now that AEW isn't part of the sports tier, but that could always change. I would not be shocked if maybe come February, there's a move to put AEW pay-per-views on Max.
It would make a lot of sense, because they've not... Right now, pay-per-views are quite expensive. They are the full whack of money. It's about like $50 in the States. Fairly cheap over here, all things considered, like £19. But having them on a streaming platform opens it up to so many more people. Like if you've already got Max and you go, I'll already watch NBA, so I'll pay for Bleacher Report. Oh, this pay-per-view's on. You might sit down and watch it. Opens up to a ton of new fans. It also maybe allows them, if they're doing this 12 pay-per-views for the full year, it allows them to have a more regular stream of income to allow to support that. Instead of folk going, I might watch this one, but I might not watch that one. I can't really afford it this much. It just makes sense. We've seen a lot of things go streaming. I wouldn't be surprised if they start getting their own sort of WWE network on there with a backlog of all their former their old episodes, all their old pay-per-views. I'm just intrigued as to how this will affect the UK with their TV deal with ITV. Will we get a streaming service over here that goes, we'll pick them up once it's expired with Fight? Or is this going to be just US exclusive?
Well, I feel like they will probably want to put their claws into the UK market a little bit more with Max, and I think this might be one of numerous ways in which they can do that. I know that over here there is a big demand for Major League Baseball, for NHL, for the NBA, and Max being able to offer that globally would certainly be something big for them. But there's obviously there are other competitors for those rights. I know that Sky would be in the mix for such things as well.
Well, that's the thing.
TNT Sports.
HBO Max or Max has a partnership with Sky, so any of their content goes on Sky or Sky Service Now TV. So it does beg the question, if AEW does go on Max, will that also go on Now TV?
So it might make some changes too.
It'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Obviously, it's not confirmed from AEW's side that is the plan going forward. But it's just interesting that there wasn't anything in place for live TV for All In, and now it looks like there is. So we'll keep an eye on that one as it develops. But going back over at WWE, there's going to be some more premium live events coming up. We've got quite a lot. We've got Crown Jewel on Saturday, November 4th. We know they like to make a big deal of these shows and make every premium live event seem massive right now. And there's probably nothing more massive than getting one of the top sports stars in the world to come and watch.
That's right.
Absolutely crazy story. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, that was a name I wasn't expecting to see in my wrestling news this time in the morning.
Absolutely not, but CR7 could be at Crown Jewel. Numerous Spanish outlets such as Planeta Wrestling and AS.com are reporting that WWE is in talks with having Cristiano Ronaldo appear at WWE Crown Jewel next month. Ronaldo has recently moved to the Saudi Arabian team Al Nassr FC after his departure from Manchester United, and it looks like this would be a pretty big deal to get Ronaldo sitting in the crowd.
I know that Al Nassr FC are keen to work with WWE, and I think putting Cristiano Ronaldo front and center is one of these great sort of showbiz moves.
Yes,
and I think, and I don't know whether you go further to have him sit in the crowd. I think you have him box somebody.
You have him hit someone. Just
like Rooney did with Barrett.
He's got to hit a kick.
Yeah,
he's got to kick someone.
He's got to do a soccer kick.
He's got a penalty kick. Like someone sits like him.
Could he do a Pele kick with AJ Styles?
Imagine. Hits like Gunter, takes him down, pins him.
I think there's an opportunity to do something physical there that will get the world's papers talking about CR7.
Although considering his salary at £200 million per year, I imagine the insurance is through the roof.
That's a good point.
For Cristiano Ronaldo. But it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on, because seeing WWE merge with UFC and make this new company TKO, I imagine that we will see a lot of celebrities getting involved, trying to make this company massive. If Ronaldo gets involved here, I wouldn't put it past Messi being involved in a show in the States at some point. But we will keep an eye on all things wrestling and Cristiano Ronaldo, which is a very strange phrase to be saying, but keep an eye on Cultaholic.com for all the wrestling news. Tom, if you've got anything you want to plug.
I'm going to see Brian Butterfield tonight at the Whitley Bay Playhouse.
You are? That's exciting.
I can't wait.
Ben and Peter got to chat with him. I couldn't believe it.
It was a great chat. You can check out Podiots, part of the Vidiots umbrella, where Ben, Peter, and Michael all got to chat with the brilliant Brian Butterfield. That's actually on their YouTube channel right now. He's a lovely guy. Great businessman.
I've heard that.
Phenomenal businessman.
Maybe
Brian Butterfield.
He should be in charge of TKO.
Do you know what? I wonder what wrestling would look like with Brian Butterfield in charge of WWE's creative direction.
Let us know what you think it'll be like. In the meantime.
Call now.
See you later.